The Wednesday Week is sponsored by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. We bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? All right, then, good evening and welcome to the Wednesday Week. My name's Dan Fudge, or should I start with, how am I looking? I'm looking nice. You see, that's a Red Dwarf reference. You didn't think I was going to get away with that, did you? Good evening and welcome to the Wednesday Week. My name's Dan Fudge, and we've got Simon, Stevie, and Ben. I can hear myself in the background. Who's got me too loud? I've got my big showbiz voice on. Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, never mind then. Hey, we're just going to leave these
Oh, you sound amazing.
I know. I say that to myself every week when I listen to myself driving down the road. So on a week where we've made two inverted commas signings, we've got two new faces through the door. But lads, we've got to talk about Oxford United. I believe three new faces. Oh shit. Oh, did we not talk about turn around, look at what you see? That was Jordan's story. It was good, wasn't it?
Did we do it last week?
I don't know.
Did we do it?
I don't know.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again.
We'll do it again. You know what I mean? I've not got him ready because I thought we talked about him last week, but we'll see how it goes anyway, lads. Are you all right? Anyway, but first up, we've got to talk about Sammy Winnell. Just to coin a phrase. I couldn't find that video for Love and the Money. I don't know if you know which one I mean. We've got to talk about Oxford United. We've got to talk about Barry Bannon getting on the score sheet again. We've got to talk about if you could see what I could see when I'm Jordan Windass. Not Jordan.
Josh.
Jordan Windass. That's his cousin. I was talking to him about his cousin Josh.
At least it weren't Dean. You normally call him Dean.
Yeah, I know. I've done really well. What it was, I was sat there thinking, right, begins with J. Don't say Dean. Don't say Dean. I'm going to pump for Jordan. There's John, Jules, Jordan, and Josh all flying around in this last 5 minutes. So I know I'm annoying. I'm doing my own head in. Right then, Ben, talk to me. Barry Bannon got an opener. We're playing Oxford. Big. What would you say? 6 pointer. We decided to call it last week. Are we still? Tell me how it went.
Well, after my luck with away games, I didn't go, which we're sort of regretting it really. At first half, we seemed to play quite well. I think you went, Simon. We seemed to sound like we were majorly on top. Probably should have had a penalty after going 1-0 up as well. It did look like a penalty, to be honest. And yeah, we took lead, really good goal. Probably what goal at season contenders, like in terms of build up and stuff. And yeah, on top, and probably should have made it 2, maybe 3, and that had had the game going a different way to what it ended up going. And then what tends to happen with us, we throw it away, don't we?
It's like we've never done it before. Stevie, now, come on, we went in front twice. Surely we should have just put it to bloody bed. It's Oxford United, for God's sake.
I've said several times this season, I think Oxford are probably one of, if not the best side that I've seen at Hillsborough this year. I thought they were better than Plymouth when Plymouth came in the FA Cup. I thought they got off the bus at 2:15 and just absolutely steamrolled us. 3 o'clock onwards, they just absolutely came at us, and they were great. I thought we started all right. I thought we were the better side once the game settled. You get that first sort of 5-10 minutes or so, the game settled. I thought we were valued for going in front. Little bit frustrated, if I'm honest with you, with the goals that we conceded. I think we've conceded soft goals on Saturday. I remember us sitting here last week. We were on last week, weren't we, Dan? And I said, given all the positivity that we were feeling after the win previously, I'd have took a draw on Saturday. I did say that. I think, at half time, it was interesting at half time, the general vibe, and again, goes to the point how fickle we are. The general vibe on Twitter was, oh, we're doing all right here. And like Ben said, and you've just suggested we should be putting the team to bed and, the game to bed, and we should be 2-3 goals in front. It was a penalty, by the way, absolutely a penalty. But if you look at the stats at half time, it was a fairly even game in terms of territory, possession, chances created. I don't know if the previous game has just sort of played into the fact that we were feeling a little bit more positive. I do think on the whole that we were possibly unlucky to lose the game in terms of balance of play, but the goals we conceded were just shit. They were just awful goals to concede.
The first one, I know Marvin Johnson's turned it around a little bit in terms of with probably more going forward from the back, but he's been beaten by one of the smallest strikers in the league, good striker, but one of the smaller ones in the league, with a ball into the box that it should just be his. There should be no question about it.
A ball like that as a centre half, and this is it. I think out of a lot of us, I think I've been one of the ones that has said Johnson has done really well and settled in, and I was giving him some credit last week. I thought he's been playing really, really well after a bit of a dip in form. Last Saturday, the first goal proved that if you come up against a decent centre half that wants to win a 50-50 in the air, Marvin Johnson ain't a centre half. I think when he can turn the ball around, I think we can play out from the back with him. I think ball at his feet. I think, linking play and joining up and overlapping, which he started doing over the last few weeks, getting down that sort of wing back and playing as sort of overlapping the wing back and playing as that sort of overlapping player. I think he does that great. But when he's got to sort of roll his sleeves up and go physical against a centre forward, he's going to get found out. And I think Saturday proved that. That was the first goal. I think the second goal was clumsy as hell. The equaliser. We've just scored. They've kicked off. Windass has gone and pressed the ball. They've launched the ball, what seemed like 60, 70 yards. It's gone over the top. Absolute manner of errors there. Palmer was too high, I'll call it. Palmer was too high out of the back three. He was 5 yards in front of the other two centre halves. On another day, I'd say Palmer was in the right position. The other two were too deep. But the position of the back three was wrong. I thought FDB pulled out of a challenge that he could have put his foot in, and having looked back and had a look at it again, he sort of pulled away from it, which has allowed them to maintain possession of the ball. Ball's bounced through, and then it's just ricocheted one after the other, and nobody's actually dealt with it. And it's that old cliche of you have to be switched on when you've just scored, because it's the time when you're most susceptible to conceding again. And literally from kickoff to that, what we're talking, less than 30 seconds. We were on a delay. Myself and Vic were on a delay because we weren't there. We were watching the game. Obviously, Ash is there, and Ash is dead active on the group, and he's going, "Oh shit!" Yeah,
he went, "Yeah."
We were typing, "Get in there, Windass." We were 3-2. It was 2-2.
I'll tell you what it reminded me of, Simon, going back to Snickers' Opal Fruits days. I don't know if you remember, we had a cup game away at Watford, and I think Alex Anderson scored a header in front of the Wednesday fans back in the day. And then as we were still celebrating, and Mark Kennedy spanked one in from about 30 yards into the bottom, beans on toast. It reminded me of that. You go, "Yay! Oh, all right, back where we were then, lads." You know what I mean? What did you make of it, Si?
I was there. We obviously walked into the game on the back of last week's result, and when we scored, I think we had a swagger about us, which looked like the Plymouth swagger we had at points. But I think that had gone to the players' heads. And there were times where we should have pulled the trigger and we didn't pull the trigger, and we were trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. And very much in the second half, we're very much like that as well. It was almost like we deserve to win this. We're going to win this. It's not an issue. And the first half, up to the equaliser, you're just thinking, yeah, we're going to win it. And the fans were the same as well. Their manager changed it in the second half. They had this big lad at the back, this number 5. He was about 7'8", and they brought him off. And I think they went to more of a 3 at the back and threw the wingers in a lot more. And we couldn't cope with that in the second half. We couldn't cope with that at all. And they were having we had a torrid time in the second half. The goal was a well-taken goal. And if we'd had a chance to actually enjoy it, it would have been nice. But again, frailties at the back. And then he brought Brown on, and the rest is history. He's just garbage. I was hoping I'd never see him in a Wednesday shirt after the Hartlepool game, and unfortunately now I have again. Doesn't add anything to the side. I think Moore should have, when they changed it, and it was obvious in the second half, the way they changed the formation in the second half, because we were running them ragged in the first half. And he changed the formation or the tactics of how they were playing, and we just carried on. We didn't do anything in our team to sort of try and nullify the threat at all. And to bring Brown on, that was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
He was at fault for the goal, for the win.
Yeah.
He was marking Winnell.
So Sammy Winnell scored 1 goal this season, and it's against us on Saturday.
I tell you what, though, I mean, Sammy Willer, you fair play to him. You know, he plays against Barnsley, scores against them, plays against us, scores against. He can retire now. He's all right.
You know what, mate? He didn't. It was at the far side from us anyway, so he didn't celebrate like he did for Wednesday in front of Barnsley fans. There were none of that. And in actually, when the game finished, he came over and he was actually applauding the Wednesday fans, not the Oxford fans.
Fair.
You know, hats off to him. He was getting a bit of slaver from the fans, but what I noticed afterwards was the apathy amongst the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when we went to Wimbledon and we drew that game, and it was proper, really, really, you know, there was some anger there, wasn't there, at that game that you and I went to?
A man punched a bin, and it had been raining, and the puddle on the bin hit him square in the mouth. And you know, I found that quite funny.
It was. So, for example, they got the winner, and this kid ran out from their home end behind their goal and ran the full length of the pitch to us, right, to the Wednesday fans. And most games nowadays, there would have been 3 or 4 Wednesday fans on that pitch trying to knock his head off. And nobody moved. Nobody moved. Nobody was bothered. Nobody was interested. He obviously got shouted at, but nobody was interested. And that was the sort of thing, not that I suggest that anybody should go on the pitch and lamp somebody, but at the end of the day, there was about as much passion in the terrace as there was on the pitch. And I think Wednesday fans have just gone, you know what? It's what happens. Do you think that, play devil's advocate, do you think that that's because of the manner of the performance? And I know it's a cliche, and I'll probably get shot down for this. I know it's a cliche. If we lose them with shit, we lose them with shit. But we didn't actually play that badly. I thought we were shit.
The goals we conceded were poor, but
we were poor in the second half. We were very poor in the second half. The first half, and in a way, I think we were a bit shell shocked that we did lose it after that first half performance. But we should have been 2 or 3 now up at half time. No, there was a definite pen. You're absolutely right. It was a definite pen. We didn't put our chances away, and we were trying to play nicey, tippy-tappy football, my dad used to call it. It was just, you know, just swing a leg at it. Pato came on and he wasn't interested. Pato came on and he wasn't interested, and it just, you could see it was coming.
I think the apathy is because we've done this so many times now this season that we've got a side that we keep saying should be too good, yet it keeps throwing points away, it keeps drawing games. I think my dad said, well, would you even be happy with drawing this game? No, because if you are getting playoffs, you now need to be winning these games. We're into new year. Tables took shape, and you are where you are for a reason now. It's not like, oh, you've had a slow start or anything. This is as good as what we are, and I think the apathy is because of that, and because of the good start we had in the first month, and you can't say that Darren Moore hasn't brought good players into the club, because he has. The signings he made have been good players, but a lot of them haven't worked, and I think people are just, like I say, it's just how Wednesday are now. That's how it feels.
I can't listen. Honestly, you're all just bumming me out, lads. Like, you know what I mean? And that's exactly your point. Like, there's an apathy there. There's very much yeah. I mean, that shirt behind you, Ben, the typical Wednesday one. You know, when it came out, I was like, fucking Pete McKee. That's a bit snidey, isn't it? You know what I mean? Having a dig at the club he professes to love, and then now I'm like, yeah, I get it why he's done it. Like, you know what I mean? I completely understand it. Jordan Thorne will be playing against us as well, and now, what I remember, he's above us in the league, isn't he now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, let's get on to more pressing matters, because that just bummed me out, lads. But I'm glad we've got it out the road. It's done. You know what I mean? Let's get it out the road. So we'll come first to story. Who wants to talk about the story? Go on, Steve. Tell me some things that you might or might not know.
I don't know much, to be honest. Of the 3 signings, we're going to have to fluff this out, because I don't actually know a great deal about any of them. you know, you do your little bit in the 10 minutes I've had between getting home from the gym. And
Gym/pub.
logging on. Yeah. Not tonight. He's been a fairly regular starter for Preston in the last sort of few years. I think he's played 28 games, 10 games, 29 games in the last 3 seasons, and then 17 games this season up until Ryan Lowe came in, and Lowe's just not giving him a look in. So you wonder what the issue is there as Lowe come in and gone, you're not my type of player. I don't know if there's any previous or anything like that. I'm not really fussed. I think having seen the little bits on socials of the 2 centre halves that we've signed in the last week, he seems to be the one that comes with a little bit of a better reputation, pedigree, and more credence, if you like.
I was going to say, when we see that Spencer signed a player, you go back to some of the old tweets and all the rest of it, search his name and you go, oh God, like the other 2 did not come highly recommended, did they? But Jordan Story out the 3 has been one that's got a decent bit of a write-up. You know what I mean? I'm excited about it. You're right. I'd love to see what went off between him and Ryan Lowe. And you know, Ryan Lowe plays a certain style of football, and we play a different one. You know, we play one that can't hold the lead. You know what I mean? We shit a dog walking service.
Absolutely. I do wonder. I mean, I don't know. I won't profess to know whether he's a left-sided player, right-sided player. I don't know what the plan is. We brought 2 centre halves in there. One of the local journos, it might have been Joe, has counted the number of defenders, the centre halves that we've got. I think it's about 8 or 9 that we've now got in the books, including Iorfa and Dunkley. He didn't include Johnson. He didn't include Palmer. And you know, they're conversations for another time. But we've got plenty of coverage now in the back 3. It's going to be interesting to see of the 2 lads that have signed, who goes in, who drops out. Is he going to play Hutch in the middle of those 2? I know that I've seen some clamour for going back to a back 4 with Hutch and Dean in there, which I think is strange considering we've signed Story. I don't think he's going to change formation. I don't. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens next.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is he going to change formation? Is he going to look at changing? Because you can't drop Palmer on his form, can you? You can't drop Hunt on his form. So then you've got and really, can you drop Hutch on his form? So where do these guys? But we need centre backs. So
but I to that point, Simon, I think we've seen the best, and we mentioned it last week about Hunt, and I can remember Vic saying he's far too good for this league, and based on that position of playing wing back, the quality of delivery that he's got in the minute, and you know, all piss taken aside, him and Palmer have created a relationship at the moment.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So, you know, you get your standoff old sort of Twitter guys that Dan's mentioned in the past, that we're still living in a world where in 2015 Liam Palmer was second best to Jack Hunt at right back, and we sent him out alone and he weren't good enough, and this, that and the other. You can argue whether or not he's found his level in League One. I'm still a proponent of the fact that he's a better player having played international football. I stand by that. I don't think he's somebody that you should be dropping, but that means that if you've got Palmer in there, you've got Hutch in there, we've signed Story, we've got Dunkley coming back in, we've got Iorfa to come back in, we've got Brennan that nobody's mentioned. You know,
but
what's the plan next?
Is this an indication that maybe Dunkley and Iorfa are out for a lot longer than we think, than we know?
Possibly.
And I agree entirely. You first, I would say, your first 2 or 3 names on the sheet are Palmer, Hunt, and Luongo. So he was one we've not spoken about Luongo, but Luongo got into, despite the fact that we lost, he got into Team of the Week again.
Yeah.
He just looks an absolute different class.
I'm pretty sure if Ash pulls his shirt up, he's got a big face, a face of Massimo Luongo on his chest, like, you know what I mean, like that scene out of Alan Partridge. Now, we also, in terms of what you're saying about the formation, lads, I don't think he would change formation, because I don't think we have an issue playing, however you want to say it, 5 at the back, for example, or, you know, 3 and 2 wing backs and all the rest of it. We've got no issue, and we haven't had much of an issue scoring goals. It's letting them in at the back.
Yeah.
Now, if we can change up that back 3 for the back middle 3, as it were, to to win headers and not let Sammy win all in like that kid did at Barnsley. There's an opportunity there where we can stop conceding these stupid, shitty goals. Like,
if you look at what we've conceded since Sunderland away, so what was it? 5 at Sunderland. How many was it at Shrewsbury?
One.
Just one.
Shrewsbury. Two against Plymouth.
And then three against them.
Saturday. We're shipping. That's shipping goals.
It is, and we're supposed to be playing what you would on Footy Manager call 5-3-2. I get that the other two are wing backs. Don't get me wrong, but they need to start chipping in with some defensive work. You know what I mean?
That's the reality of playing a right back and a left midfielder.
Yeah.
As two of your centre half. Yes, you are going to be probably better going forward, but it's going to leave you lightweight at the back, and I'm perfectly happy with keeping Palmer as his right side of the centre half. I don't think that is the problem. It's square pegs in round holes when you've got Marvin Johnson there. Really.
Well, this is it. So let's move on here. So we took on Tyrese John Jules. He's a striker that didn't score any goals for Blackpool. He must have some kind of discernible quality that Darren Moore likes. You can't really, he's come from the Arsenal Academy, and there is this perception that people who are brought up around quality play a different game of football. And if you look down at League One and League Two, there's a lot of players who are perceived to have that ability. Some go on to be great players, some can't get out of the EFL. You know what I mean? Is anybody overexcited about this signing, or do you reckon it's just going to be one for numbers?
I don't think it can be much worse than Berahino, really. Another option, isn't it? I suppose instead of bringing him on. That's how I see it, if I'm honest.
Another player who's, I think to myself, why do we give him a shirt? Question mark, could somebody be leaving?
No idea. No idea. We thought we had Bailey Peacock Farrell all season, and then in January we were trying to literally discuss whether we still had him or not. And then the other one for me, right? So the other signing for me, Harley Dean. Now, when Brentford got him back in, how long are we going back now? Just gonna have a quick look.
5 years, about 2017.
He started at Brentford, didn't he?
Yeah. So when he was at Brentford, I thought, this kid's a shit kicker. I really like him. This is going to sound mental. Eastleigh FC played them in the cup, and Eastleigh got battered, something like 5-1. And he was brilliant, like really very good. I think that was the game I watched. I'm an old man now. I don't care. Not after feedback. But anyway, there was a couple of times I saw him and I went, I like him. I like that he's a meathead. I like that he's a proper centre back. I like that he was quite athletic at the time as well. And then when Birmingham got him, I remember thinking, shit, we should have been in that conversation. We should have been in and around there because we'd just come from the playoff final. Why are we not signing Harley Dean? And then 5 years later, after 170 odd appearances, he's now a second string at a club like Birmingham, and I don't think he's endeared himself to the fans. Did anybody read any of the comments?
Yeah, F off you. Yeah, stuff like that. Pretty much, which I would say as you, Fudge. I've always, as a player that you see twice a season, I've always rated him. Really, he's always been a name that's stood out as a centre half that could push on and go, towards top end at Championship and probably lower end Premier League around sort of time that Birmingham got him. I don't know how much they paid for him, but I imagine it a decent price for a centre half because he, highly rated at Brentford. And then you see some comments, happy he's gone, I'll drive him there, all this, all that, and you think, is it another one that's sort of 4 years too late? Which possibly so, but he has got a lot of experience, and as Stevie said in group earlier on, he's another option that surely can't be that bad.
worst case scenario, he's going to be cover, isn't he? Worst case scenario, he's going to come in, he's going to push lads in front. I don't think, given if everybody was fit and firing, and I was thinking exactly the same that Simon mentioned earlier on. If we sign these two centre halves, it points to the fact that Iorfa's not right, and he's not going to be right for a while, and we don't know what's going on with Dunkley. We've got Brennan, as we've said previously, I think he's the fourth centre half, isn't he? is the one that's going to sit on the bench and get the experience. And in a couple of years' time, he's going to step up. If he comes in and is bang average for us in League One, as daft as it sounds, that's no bad thing. Given that we've got other options, he's going to be a better player. When you look at that goal that we've conceded, for all the positivity around Johnson, he's going to be a better player than Marvin Johnson playing centre half. I think Hutch is fine. I think Hutch has been welcomed back into the team. I don't have any issues with him playing over the last couple of games with the goals that we've conceded. I don't think he's done too much wrong. Hutch gets in our starting back three, doesn't he? At the minute, whatever you want to say, Palmer gets in that starting back three, whether you agree with that or not in terms of is he a natural centre half. He hasn't done enough wrong to drop him. I'm sorry, he hasn't. And then you've got, as we've said, the lads that are out, plus another, whether that be Story, Brennan, whether it be Dean. I don't think it's a bad signing at all from our point of view. But again, you go back to that old cliche, one man's trash is another man's treasure, isn't it? So for whatever he's done over at Birmingham over the last year, 18 months, did he not get 2 versions of their Player of the Year last year?
Yeah.
2021.
So you know, people, football fans have got really short memories, and we're as guilty as that. We
lost Steve there for a second. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Steve.
Really short memories. If he's good enough to get 2 Player of the Year. Did I go? Sorry.
Yeah, you went, and then all of a sudden it caught up, and then it carried on talking after I said, sorry, we've lost you. Sorry. Go again. You said football fans have got really short memories.
I was saying football fans have got really short memories, and if he got their Player of the Year or 2 versions of their Player of the Year last year, it goes to point to the fact that just like us, you know, it doesn't matter what team you support or you're following. You know, you're only 2, 3, 4 ricks, mistakes, bad games, bang average games when you've been a 10 out of 10, 5 weeks on the bounce from being a shit player. I think given his stats in terms of what he's done at championship level, he's still a relatively good age. I think he should be coming down into League One. Your Matty Taylors that played for Oxford, your other strikers, your Verdane Olivers that caused headaches against Gillingham. He's the kind of guy that's going to come in and he's going to mess them about. He's not going to take any shit. And all the football that we're playing, like you keep saying, Dan, he's a shit kicker. So let's do it.
We're playing shit kicker football in a shit kicker league. It's as simple as that. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go for a lovely wee. Just literally stay and look at my face for 4 seconds, and I'll be straight back.
This meeting is being recorded.
That is so weird. Who does that now? What's going on? I'll come back to it. Right, welcome back. I had to break there because I need a wee. And we've also taken Simon out of the shed, so he should sound all lovely and whatnot. Now, Simon, you were bringing up a point in Ray, the awards that that Harley Dean had secured.
Harley Dean, there's a couple of points. Firstly, he's 30, so he's an ideal age to be a centre back. He's well experienced, but he's got plenty of years ahead of him. But as Steve said about fickle supporters, he won Supporters Player of the Year last season. So he can't have been doing anything wrong last season, can he? So
I don't know. I honestly, I genuinely thought he was a good player. I don't, because I remember him scoring against us and scoring the winner, if I remember rightly, one game. So you know,
sure, were we not linked with him before he went to Birmingham?
Yeah,
I'm sure we were, because I remember Lord Hillsborough tweeting about it specifically. I remember, I don't know why, I'm pretty sure that we were linked with him, and I was gutted when Birmingham got him, because there was him, and then who was the kid that Villa got? Elphick?
Yes.
Was that his name? I was jealous that they got him. Benefit of retrospect, he turned out to be absolute gash. So, you know, gutted. You know what I mean? But Harley Dean was one that I was really excited about. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about upcoming. Who we got next? I've not looked. I don't know what. Ipswich. Yeah, I remember now. I remember now.
They're on quite a good run.
They are on quite a good run. Like,
don't they?
Is there? Go on.
So, don't care.
Don't care.
Form doesn't matter against Wednesday.
Form. Sorry, excuse my French. Form means fuck all when you're playing against us.
No, form means nothing. You could be sat at the bottom of the league, not won a game in God knows how long. Hello, we're Sheffield Wednesday. Or you could have won the last 5-10 games. 5-0. Hello, Sheffield Wednesday. You do not know when you go to an away game or a home game what the result's going to be. You cannot walk into that stadium and go. So, for example, we proper handed Plymouth their arse last week. Goes to Oxford, play like we did in the first half. We're going to win this. We lost it 3-2. I can't put any form on us. You don't know what team he's going to pick. You don't know. Well, we do know what formation we're going to play. It's just a case of we'll see what happens.
I saw a great tweet, and I thought I'm going to save this and mention it tonight if that's all right. Somebody,
right, Steve, mate, whatever you want, pal.
Forgive me. Right. I'll find whoever it is. Forgive me if they listen. Forgive me for not crediting you personally, but somebody retweeted it. I read the original tweet, and it was basically a sort of a statement that you can say what you want about Darren Moore, you can say what you want about Chansiri, but nobody can argue that Darren Moore has not been backed by Chansiri. He's got these players. He's got decent players on paper through the door. Chansiri's given him everything that he needs to go and be successful in this league, and he's now. And I'm looking. I've got the TV on in the background. Where if we win our game and we're going to be 3 points outside the playoffs with a lot of football to play still. We'll go back above Plymouth on Saturday if we. Ipswich if we play them. If we beat them on Saturday. But the point is, okay, having given Moore all these players, he's now got a platform to go out there and perform. But with everything being equal, we've now got 7 games out of 10 at home. I think it is in the next 10 games that we play, 7 of them at home. We need to make Hillsborough a little bit of a fortress. We need to sort of double down and make sure that when teams are coming in, where we're starting like we did against Plymouth, like we did against Sunderland. We talked about it last week in terms of those better sides. When I say I'm not bothered about who we play, it's because we do all right against a decent size, generally speaking. We did all right for large parts of Saturday's game. I know Simon thinks that we were shit second half. Perhaps we were in retrospect. There's not been a team that's absolutely mauled us since Plymouth. That hasn't happened. You know, we've been frustrated with the points that we've dropped and the goals that we've conceded, but we haven't actually rolled over and died. Plymouth, yes. Forgive me, Sunderland as well. But
that's it sounds, Steve.
6 points, aren't we?
Well, last season we were rolling over and dying. This season we're waiting till we're 2-0 up and there's 10 minutes to go before we then just roll over and die. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it goes. Now
it's a fair point.
I think February gives us an ideal time because the games are going to come thick and fast. And if anything from what I've seen with Wednesday in the past is when we play games thick and fast, that's if we get momentum for the first couple, we will carry that on. What seems to hit us and hurt us is where we don't play. So, for example, when we miss games due to COVID and stuff like that, that's when we struggled. International breaks, we've always struggled. I'm quite looking forward to the next month because I think if we can get a result on Saturday, you know, then we've got Morecambe at home on Tuesday night. Then we've got Burton away. You know, if we can get the team firing and then just keep getting that momentum going, then I think February could be a really. Well, it's going to go one way or the other, isn't it? With the number of games we've got.
The thing about being at a lot of home games, I think there's only Oxford, I think, that's beat us at home this season. Hillsborough has been a bit of a fortress. Yeah,
I knew you were going to say fortress.
Gillingham, Lincoln, we've thrown it away and drawn. Wickham, we drew. And then Oxford lost.
Ben, you could say thrown it away and drawn every fixture with bloody hard in the first third of the season. Now, like listen, my concern that I've got here now, February is renowned. Right, I tell you what, I'll give you a story. February payday weekend in the bar industry is renowned for being a big dirty weekend. You know what I mean? It's a big money weekend because people literally choke through January, paying off Christmas. So they sit there, they're all in the gym, they're all eating healthy. And then they get to February and go, fuck it, let's get rat-assed. And everybody comes out and everybody feels like, they're living that champagne lifestyle on a Lambrini budget. But I'm looking at I'm looking at February, the shortest month in the calendar year, the shortest month in the history of months there's ever been. And we've got 8 games. Now, given that most of our players and some of our better players have fallen by the wayside, we had a well-documented starting 11 that didn't make it through one season, and that's when we finished their mediocre season. Is anybody else worried that our players made of Lego, for example, is Sam Hutchinson going to be able to play 8 games in 4 weeks?
Yeah, but we've got some centre backs to cover them now, haven't we?
Is that why we've bought centre backs? Because Sam Hutchinson is made of Lego.
He's going to be, isn't it? Because his legs are made out of biscuits. So it is going to be. He's going to struggle playing, like say, Ipswich, then Morecambe, and then Burton. He's probably going to have to miss one of those games. Maybe the Morecambe game.
This is what I was going to suggest. So we've got Morecambe at home, Burton away, and then we've got Wigan, Rotherham, right? If I was Darren Moore, Ben, you'd agree with me. If I was Darren Moore, would you drop Hutchison for those first 2 games so he's back for Rotherham and Wigan?
I'd drop him for the Morecambe and Burton ones, yeah, definitely. Not the Ipswich one. You've got to play him against Ipswich.
I've already skipped past that, mate. You know what I mean? I'm just in February specifically that.
But Stevie's shaking his head. But now we have the option of dropping him out, and if we are playing 3 at the back, then you've got Palmer, Dean, and Story.
So, Stevie, are you of the ilk where let's just play him until he breaks?
Yeah.
No, I agree. No, I'm agreeing.
100%. Simon made the point earlier on. I agree with it. The worst thing that we can do at the minute is start chopping and changing. If we've got a team that's right, play the fucking team. If we've got a team that's fit and firing, play that team. If we need to run them into the ground, sounds harsh and it sounds like I'm being, But what I mean by that is, a team in form, the moment he starts going, right, we'll drop Hutch, we'll put Dean in there, or we'll put Johnson in there, we'll bring Palmer back in, we'll take Palmer from one wing back and put him in another one, or whatever the formation, team selection that we've got, it's all well and good. We scrape a win and it'll be, well, we got lucky there, or we lose a game and it'll all of a sudden it'll be, fucking hell, I don't know what he's doing, what's going on here, blah, 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 blah. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot to be said for momentum. For me, we historically, I know we talk about the standard of games and the standard of fitness that people have and what have you. Teams do well, or teams can do well when they are, with a small squad that's playing regularly. You don't need this big, expansive chopping and changing. We've criticised the bloke, the manager. We've criticised him for however long because he keeps dropping players, putting players back in this, that, and the other. For me, if you're playing well, you keep your shirt, you carry on. It's a cliche, but that's what we need to do.
No, you're absolutely right, Steve. You look at those promotion winning seasons, or where we've got into the playoffs. So Dave Jones, took a team and kept that team, same team, all the way through to which point we're automatically promoted, right? You look at Carlos. He got that team together. That run that we got off when we ended up in the playoff final. That run at the end where we're unbeaten in, was it 13 games or something along those lines? The following season where we had that run and got into the playoffs. If you're absolutely right, we keep that same. If you get a win inside, you keep it. You stop. Don't tinker. Tinker with it if you're halfway through a game and it's not working. And there are games there. There are games there where you've got Morecambe. I'm not sure where Burton is at, but you've got Morecambe. You've got Accrington. You've got Doncaster. They're the games that we've got to be winning. And the tough games, obviously, you've got Wigan, you've got Rotherham. That's going to be, Christ, Rotherham, a tough game. Got Rotherham, tough game. Ipswich. We need to be going in and getting those, like the Morecambes, the Burtons, Accringtons. We've got to be getting those 3 points out of every single one of those games. And using
after the apathy that we mentioned, though, do you trust us? Can you trust us?
No.
I think what's going to shine through here is depth, and that's going to be the difference. We as Sheffield Wednesday have got, compared to your Morecambe, your Accringtons, and your Johnny Come Latelys. We've got a lot more depth than they have. Do the other teams? Because how many fixtures did we have called off for COVID? Was it 1 or 2? 2.
Burton and Accrington.
And that's why we've got 2 games in hand. It looks like we're playing them in February by the looks of it.
We are. Yeah.
And the other teams don't need to have that depth because they don't have as many fixtures. So this is where Darren Moore's acumen in terms of being able to manage a squad, I think, is going to come into play, because I think we need to, I believe we should be boxing clever. I wouldn't be playing Sam Hutchinson at home to Morecambe. I wouldn't. You chuck Harley Dean in and go, "Yeah, kid, pick up where he left off. Crack on." That'd be it. Because I'd want Hutchinson playing away at Burton and at home to Wigan and Rotherham. You know what I mean? You'd have to do it, and you're still a soul.
Let me ask a question then. Would anybody be surprised if we got more points against Ipswich, Wigan, and Rotherham than we did against Accrington, Burton, and Morecambe?
No, not at all.
Are you still harping back to your homework in the bath that you did last week? Is that what it is? Those who didn't listen last week, Steve did some homework, and it turns out we're rate good against the big sides in the league, or the perceived big sides in this league. We've
had that mentality for quite a few seasons now, to be honest.
Yeah. We don't beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, and I completely agree with you. I mean, I sometimes I'm not a fan of squad rotation, and I agree with you, Steve. But there is an element of Darren Moore is damned if he does and he's damned if he don't, because that's the issue with social media such as Twitter. It's an absolute toilet. And you can really get sucked in, you can really get pulled into it. And then because this bloke you followed tweets a lot, whoever it is, this make-believe man that just completely just derides everything, you'll find yourself starting to believe it as well. Negativity does breed negativity. And I think that if Darren Moore rotated the squad, what the bloody hell's he bloody doing? And then if he doesn't rotate the squad, bloody Sam Hutchinson's men arrive eaters and he's making to play all these bloody games.
There were one after Oxford game that after everybody was saying, "Oh, brilliant! He's not changed sides for the first time this season." And after the game, he's playing Marvin Johnson, Palmer, two people that aren't centre halves when he's brought Jordan Story in.
Yeah, that weren't a problem 6 games ago, was it? You know what I mean? Nobody said that. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke, right? So. Simon, prediction, Ipswich, what are you feeling? It's in the terms of league position, it's a 6-pointer, but we do have 2 games in hand, but I'd rather have points on the board, as we know after last season, really. Games in hand mean shit all. So what are you thinking?
3-1 Wednesday.
3-1 Wendy. Benjo.
1-1.
Oh, God almighty, we'd be drunk. Do you remember when we used to just predict 3-0 every week?
No.
One of them days.
Go on, Stevie.
3-0. No, I do think we're going to win. I do think, for all our faults, that we are going to get some points on the board at home. I worry about the away games. I worry about the teams that we should be beating that we won't. But I just feel over the duration of the season, we're turning up largely, with a couple of exceptions. We're turning up against the big sides. So I think we'll be all right.
I think he needs to make a couple of changes to the side. Personally, I think there needs to be some tweaks at the back to stop this leaking at the back, and I think that now's the time to play Windass from the start of the game. Now,
listen, I'm going to float one to you, Simon, in terms of that, because I'm starting to turn, and I'm disappointed in myself because I know where we are, and I know that the player we have in this position is very good, but given last season, the season before, add this one in. Is it not about bloody time? If we're not playing Kieran Westwood and we're letting him go, let's get a bloody goalkeeper, a big commanding knobhead who's going to say, "Mate, don't let that bounce there. It's my ball." I agree that BPF is a very good shot stopper. I agree. It's the bread and butter stuff, the stuff they can't teach you, the dark arts, the commanding of the area. Some of the pathetic efforts he makes to, the mistakes he made at the start of the season. Is it not time we got a proper keeper in, or are we just happy with BPF?
I think I know you. Sorry, I know you posed that to Simon. I was going to say, I think you be careful what you wish for. I agree with everything that you've said, and with hindsight, I know the circumstances around it would not necessarily lend themselves to Westwood being there. Would Westwood, in the grand scheme of things, have been a better option? I don't know. Is Westwood too old? I don't know. Who's out there that's better than Peacock Fowl that we can bring in?
As daft as it sounds, though, Steve, people always ask that when we have a manager. They go, "Who are you going to get?" And what do I always say?
That's your thing. You're like, it's not my job to tell you.
It's not my fucking job. It's not my job. I wouldn't have gone out and found Jordan fucking Story and Harley Dean. I wouldn't have had a look at, you know what I mean? Unless I'm on Footy Manager doing the scouting options, I don't give a shit. Somebody go out and get me a goalkeeper who can command an area.
I don't think on our priorities of problems we've got BPF is up there. And I understand what you're saying. I understand entirely what you're saying, but I don't think if you were to look at the issues we've got, I don't think he's one of the reasons why we're leaking goals at the back.
Okay.
I think, yes, he could command his front 3-4 better, but maybe that's why he's brought Hutch in. Maybe that's why Hutch is there.
And there's a difference there when Hutch plays. Now Ben, so what Simon says is right. I think the big problem we've got is we're conceding shit goals. So we've got 2 defenders in. Yeah, I don't think we have a problem scoring goals, but we've got 2 defenders in. So let's imagine those defenders now solve that defensive problem. What's our next problem? Is it the goalkeeper?
The way I put it is I'm perfectly fine with us sticking with him till the end of the season. Would I be desperate to keep him beyond that? I'd probably say no. I wouldn't be thinking like we have done with loan players in the past that have done well, be it Hector or whoever, people like that.
He's not a lone love, is he? He's not a lone love.
No, and he's a good goalkeeper. Let's get it right. We are lucky to have. I do feel we're lucky to have someone of that quality in the league, in the division that we're in. But if we went up or if we didn't go up, would I be desperate to keep him? No, I'd rather go and look at somebody that we're going to get on a 3-year contract at 26, 27-year-old. That is going to be the one that nails down the place for 4 or 5 years, like Westwood did, like Lee Grant did years ago.
I'd take Lee Grant now.
I don't know.
How old is he now? 38, 39. I'd take him. Go on, Stevie. You want to say something?
I was just going to raise a point. I just be careful because I can hear people clamoring in the background, and whatever season he's having, Cameron Dawson is not the answer.
No, Ian. Cameron Dawson
is not the answer.
Cameron Dawson isn't playing around the players that give him that the yips. You know what I mean? He's comfortable where he is.
Keepers are. I don't think either of our keepers are.
As daft as it sounds, I saw what Mark Crossley saw in them all them years ago that he came on and boasted about, but I tell you what, it's just not worked out for him. Let's start again, for God's sake. For the love of
I agree.
Who was that old lad? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Listen, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. I've got nothing much else to talk about apart from one thing, and I'm just going to leave you with this. John Terry, stop it.
The Wednesday week is sponsored by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. We bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.